He was a Dodgers first-round pick just 2 years ago. Now, he is young at 20, but there have been a lot of young pitchers make their major league debut. Felix Hernandez was 19 years, 118 days old when he started for Seattle. Britt Burns of the White Sox was 19, 58 days when he made his start with the White Sox. David Clyde made his start with Texas. He was 18 years and 2 months. And of course, the youngest pitcher ever to be in a major league game, that would be left-hander Joe Nuxhall during the war in 1944. Joe Nuxhall, in a one-sided game, was brought in at the tender age of 15. And Joe Nuxhall lasted 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 runs against the Cardinals back in 1944, and then didn't pitch again in the big leagues until 1952, 8 years later. So let's see now what young Clayton Kershaw will do. He had said before the game he's always nervous before he pitches, and I'm sure he's really fighting the butterflies right now. And Skip Schumacher, a local boy, will test him, and all of his teammates lean forward to watch Kershaw, whose fastball is inside, ball 1, clocked at 94. So Clayton Kershaw making his long-awaited debut. The 1-0 pitch on the way is a fastball for a strike, and the count 1-1. Meanwhile, at the plate, Skip Schumacher, a local boy from Torrance and Laguna Niguel. And Clayton's next pitch is a fastball foul back, and the count 1-2. In the spring, Kershaw gave up a home run to the first major leaguer he faced, then went 14 innings without giving up another, striking out 19. The 1-2 pitch, curveball fouled off, and it's still 1-2. The pitch that we will forever remember was made by Clayton Kershaw against the Boston Red Sox. He retired the side in Vero Beach, but he threw a curveball that buckled the knees of Sean Casey. The next pitch fouled away, and it's still 1-2. And I think for as long as we see him pitch, we'll try to remember that one pitch. It's been on the internet. They've shown it all over the place. The curveball that got Casey. The 1-2 pitch is a curveball fouled off. Though Schumacher still up there hacking away. And of course, for Schumacher, he's no walk in the park for Kershaw. Albert Pujols had 8 game-winning base hits 2 years ago. Mike Shannon had 7 40 years ago. Skip Schumacher has 4 so far this year. And the 1-2 pitch, Kershaw's fastball got him swinging. And down below us, we watch his mom jumping up and down, applauding. There she is, gray-haired lady in the black sweater trimmed in white. Other members of the family, although Clayton is an only child. Fastball that just exploded up around the letters. And once again, we watch his mom jump in the air, and good for her. 1 away. They take the ball and send it over to the Dodger dugout to commemorate his first big league strikeout, and the crowd applauds again. And his mom is back up on her feet applauding again. And now Brian Barton will be checking in. Right-hand batter. He has made a couple of appearances and struck out in this series. Right-hand hitter takes high, and he's another local boy. Brian is from Los Angeles, but he did go to school at the University of Miami. He started his collegiate education at Loyola Marymount. Takes very high, ball 2, 2-0. So Kershaw, an only child, raised in Highland Park, a suburb of Dallas, and some great names in sports have come out of Highland Park. How about Doak Walker and Bobby Lane? The next pitch is up, ball 3, 3-0 the count. Big Chris Young, who took that line drive in the nose the other night, pitching for San Diego against Albert Pujols. Chris Young was also raised in Highland Park. The 3-0 pitch on the way, very high, ball 4, and maybe Kershaw overthrowing a little bit following the emotional strikeout of Schumacher. Then you have Barton, and here comes Pujols. followed by Ryan Ludwig, Troy Gloss, Jason LaRue, Cesar Izturis, Todd Wellemeyer, the pitcher, and Brendan Ryan at second base. Well, if Clayton Kershaw has been thinking about this start, he has to be thinking about this man, Mr. Kershaw, Mr. Pujols, Mr. Pujols, Mr. Kershaw. Albert Pujols, the phenomenal all-around ball player for the Cardinals, will certainly give Kershaw an acid test. And the fastball up around his eyes, Kershaw probably overthrowing. 1 ball and no strikes. Pretty hard to just calm down and have a nice rhythmical release point and delivery when you're facing hitters like Pujols with Ryan Ludwig on deck. Curveball, but that one drops low. 2 balls and no strikes. 20 years old, 2 years out of high school. And as far as we know, no Dodger pitcher ever had the hoopla surrounding his name ever since spring training. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. 2-1 the count. Pujols in his career is hitting .336 against left-handers. He's hitting .345 for the year right now. The Cardinals are a break-even 9-9 against starters. Fastball in there. 2-2 the count. And Clayton hit 94 on that pitch. Cardinals 9-9 against left-hand starters, 4-5 on the road. Pujols bends over a bit at the waist, very much at the knees. At first base is Brian Barton. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball way down and inside. Ball 3. 3-2. Kershaw said when he was in Highland Park, he'd play catch a lot with Chris Young, asking him what it's like to be in the big leagues. Well, here he is. 3-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away off to the right, out of play. 3 years ago, Kershaw received some exposure. He was a member of the USA Baseball National Junior Team, and he had committed to go to school at Texas A&M when he signed a bonus of over $2 million. I think it was about $2.3 million. That would convince him to move on to become a professional. 3-2 pitch is a fastball, fouled away again. Show you how a big man he was on high school campus. Kershaw in his senior year was 12-0, an earned run average of less than 1, and in 64 innings he struck out 139. That would be averaging 2 strikeouts an inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Curveball pulled inside third and down the line. On his way around second is Barton. The ball is picked up by Pierre, but he's had trouble with it, so Barton will score on the double by Albert Pujols, and the Cardinals are on the board, leading 1-0. So Clayton Kershaw is baptized by Albert Pujols, and that figures. A Cardinal if there ever was one. So Pujols doubles in the run. A big spinning curveball, and Pujols just waited on the pitch, as they say, and then pulled it inside third. So the run is in. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Ryan Ludwig at the plate. Ludwig, the hero in Game 1 when he hit one over the center field wall. Kershaw ready, and his breaking ball drops in for a strike, and the count 0-1. So Ludwig, who has really been on a tear, hitting .346, 13 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Kershaw comes back 0-1, fastball, but that's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brian Ludwig hitting .390 against right-hand pitching. He's out of Satellite Beach, Florida, lives over in Las Vegas. He went to school there, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And there goes Pujols to third, and the ball is sliced foul down the right field line. Albert Pujols lifted Kershaw's wallet. He had third base easily stolen. Clayton not paying any attention to him, concentrating on Ludwig, who fouls it off. So Pujols, who doesn't do a lot of running, but he has stolen 2 out of 3, and Russell Martin going out to Kershaw and say, Young fella, you got to watch him out there. This is the big leagues. So for Kershaw, he got away with something on that pitch. 1-2 the count to Ryan Ludwig. Right-hand hitter is 6'3" and 210 with a lot of power. He had 14 home runs all last year, and he has 13 right now. 1-2 the count to Ryan Ludwig. Cardinals have scored, and the 1-2 pitch on the way. Kershaw delivers, breaking ball, foul back, still 1-2. No changeup for Clayton Kershaw. He throws as hard as he can, and then that big overhand curveball, which might have been unhittable in high school and might have given minor league hitters some trouble, but this is the show. 1-2 the count. After striking out Schumacher, he walked Barton. Pujols hit the curve for a double and a run. And the 1-2 pitch, fastball, popped in the air, foul off first. Loney comes over, no play, landing on the dugout roof of the Cardinals, and Kangaroos back up about 10 rows. Clayton Kershaw, in growing up in Highland Park, his mom, Mary Ann, is a graphic designer. Fastball has been clocked anywhere from 91 up around the high 90s. Curveball is in the 70s, and they rarely use circle change. And he's working hard now. This will be his 25th pitch here in the first inning, with Pujols at second base and 1 out. Fastball very high. 2-2 the count. So Clayton is struggling, and it certainly figured to be that way. Kershaw looks down the barrel to get a sign. The barrel held in his hands by Ryan Ludwig. Now the young left-hander ready, and the 2-2 pitch on the way. Curveball, grounded foul outside of third. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Other young players, of course, you remember Edwin Jackson with the Dodgers going up against Randy Johnson. Edwin was 20 years old. We showed his dad on the cell phone talking to the people in Columbus, Georgia, who were watching Edwin on television. Another youngster. 2-2 pitch on the way. Kershaw's fastball is down and away. Ball 3. So he started out and gave the crowd a thrill by striking out Schumacher. Then he walked Barton, and he wasn't close to the plate. Then Pujols went 3-2 and doubled in a run. And now he comes back 3-2 to Ryan Ludwig. Clayton hands it aside, checking. Now the left-hander ready. And the 3-2 fastball is swung on and missed. It was a fastball down as opposed to the fastball to Skip Schumacher that was up. And we'll check the Dodgers with the leather.
Third baseman,
Loney
number 8,
and Mazza, Fu and DeWitt, with Pierre, Kemp, and Ethier in the battery of Kershaw and Martin. For Russell Martin, of course, not much older than Kershaw. And Russell was quoted as saying he has the best curveball I've ever caught. And he didn't feel that Kershaw would be overwhelmed at all. And here is Troy Glaus. And Kershaw delivers, fastball for a strike. Troy Glaus last night was lifted for a pinch hitter. We didn't know why, but he wound up at Huntington Memorial Hospital. They thought he was suffering from an appendicitis and maybe an operation, but whatever, after an hour or so it seemed to pass, and here he is in the starting lineup today. Curveball, but it stays up to the big guy. He's 6'5", and a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Troy Glaus. 1-0 St. Louis, first inning. Kershaw has struck out 2, given up a run. Pujols at second, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Troy Glaus. Clayton ready. The left-hander comes back with a fastball, swung on and missed. And the count 1-2. Middle of the 990s on that pitch. So he walked Barton. Pujols doubled on a curveball, hitting it down the left field line. And he has a 1-2 count to Troy Glaus. Clayton out of his stretch. Another look back at Pujols. Now the left-hander delivers, drops the curveball in there. Strike 3 called, and Clayton Kershaw strikes out the side in his major league debut, albeit he did allow a run. And at the end of half an inning, 1-0 St. Louis. Well, it was the stuff dreams are made of. Clayton Kershaw, despite the fact he gives up a run in the first inning, strikes out the side, getting Schumacher on a high fastball, getting Ludwig on a lower fastball, striking out Gloss with a big curve. The Dodgers will have Pierre, then Luis Mazza playing second base for Jeff Kent, Andre Ethier, Russell Martin, and James Loney, Matt Kemp, Blake DeWitt, blazing hot with the bat, then Chin Lung Hu and Clayton Kershaw. On the mound for the Cardinals, big Todd Wellemeyer, who works low to Juan Pierre, ball one. Wellemeyer, 6'3", 205 pounds, looks even bigger than that. Fastball fouled away by Pierre. Wellemeyer, originally drafted by the Cubs out of Bellarmine College in Kentucky. He's from Louisville, and he's a thoroughbred. Big right-hander's 1-1 pitch, fastball chopped and speared by Gloss, who throws him out. Nice play by Troy Gloss, one away. I'm pretty sure my memory is correct. When I heard about Troy Gloss and the fact that he might have appendicitis last night, my first thought was of a Yankee. Many, many years ago, the Yankees had a wonderful third baseman by the name of Red Rolfe, R-O-L-F-E. And if I remember correctly, Red Rolfe actually suffered an appendix attack while playing. Doubled over at third base. They had to rush him to the hospital. The batter now is Luis Mazza. The young fella takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Mazza playing for the struggling Jeff Kent, and he gets a day off today, does Jeff, as Mazza takes high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mazza is from Venezuela, 5'9", a very stocky 180. Originally drafted by the Twins. Curveball is hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Barton to the wall. It is gone. Home run for Luis Mazza. His first major league home run. And just like that, Clayton Kershaw is even. And interesting enough, quite a shock, because Wellemeyer has had 5 straight starts where he has not allowed a home run. And you talk about an unexpected creasing. Luis Mazza hits a home run. So this is the day of dreams for Clayton Kershaw, who sees the run go in the seats, and for Luis Mazza, who gets 5s in the Dodger dugout. So it's 1-1, and here is Andre Ethier, and he looks at a strike. So what a first inning for Clayton Kershaw and for Luis Mazza. Well, we are close to Hollywood, aren't we? Strike 1 pitch is a little high, 1-1. Wellemeyer looks down to get a sign. Mazza very quietly putting his helmet away. The 1-1 pitch is outside, ball 2, 2-1. 5 years ago, almost on his anniversary, Wellemeyer became the first Cub pitcher in history to register a save in his major league debut. Right-hander comes back with a fastball outside. Last year, the Cardinals claimed Wellemeyer off waivers from the Royals. Ethier hitting .289, 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Wellemeyer, fastball, slider, and a change. Todd Reddy and his 3-1 pitch, fastball popped up into reasonably shallow center, very playable. Schumacher is there. Skip makes the catch for the out. And we have 2 down in the first inning, and the batter will be Russell Martin.
Batting next,
Todd Wellemeyer signed a 1-year deal in January of this year. Last year, left-handers gave him a bad time. They hit .311. Right-handers hit only .200 against him. He had a problem last year with a sprained right elbow. Actually hurt himself. He hurt the elbow banging it against that knee on his left leg. He lifts that thing high up, and the elbow just came down and slammed on the knee. Russell Martin batting .309, 3 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Wellemeyer ready. Todd delivers. Fastball in there for a strike. Phil Cuzzy is the plate umpire. Jim Wolf, Randy's brother, is umpiring at first. Ed Montague, the crew chief, at second, and Jerry Lane on the line at third. The 1-1 pitch up and in, ball 2, 2-1. Phil Cuzzy, 9 years a major league umpire, and worked a no-hitter back 7 years ago. He was the home plate umpire. The next one swung on and missed by Martin, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So Todd Wellemeyer pitching for the Cardinals, who are playing very well. They've won 30 games. Only the Red Sox have won more, 31. And they're doing it without 2 of their premier starters, Mark Mulders and Chris Carpenter. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Russell Martin. Wellemeyer delivers, and it's fouled away. So all of a sudden, with Mulders and Carpenter not pitching, Braden Looper and Adam Wainwright came out of the pen to work for Tony La Russa, and they've worked very well. Of course, Carpenter, the winningest pitcher in the big leagues from '04 to '07, and he's sidelined as well as Mulder. The 2-2 pitch on the way, check, and it's up, ball 3. 3-2 the count. So the Cardinals won, the Dodgers won. We're in the first inning, and what an inning it is. Clayton Kershaw gives up a run and strikes out the side. Luis Mazza hits his first major league home run for the Dodgers. 3-2 fastball is hit back at third, down the line, slicing foul, and out of play. Carrying to the second level. 3-2 the count to Russell Martin. Well, it's always wonderful to know where a relative of a young player is, and it was fun in the first inning watching Clayton Kershaw's mom. There was no doubt about who she was. We'll get more information on the family on another check swing by Russell Martin. We know that his mom is accompanied by several others, so we'll let you know who's here rooting for 20-year-old Clayton Kershaw. 3-2 the count to Russell Martin. On deck, James Loney. Wellemeyer turns on the rubber, and the 3-2 pitch, fastball, that's lifted back at first down the line. Coming over is Ludwig inside the chalk and makes the catch for the out. So Martin, a fly ball to right, but the Dodgers get a run. Luis Mazza, the young fella out of Venezuela, hits a breaking ball into the left field seat. And at the end of an inning, it's a 1-1 tie. 1-1 tie, second inning. Remember, we were talking about Clayton Kershaw and members of the family who are watching the ball game. And we had the lady jumping up and down in black trimmed in white as his mom, but no, that is the mother of his girlfriend. Ellen Nelson is the mom. She is sitting there in the black trimmed in white. Mary Ann Kershaw is in the first row wearing looks like a black blouse, sunglasses. On her left is Clayton's uncle. So we're getting the family squared away. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Jason LaRue, a chopper to short. Nice big hop for Who, and Kim Lung throws him out. 1 away. And the batter now will be Cesar Izturis. So Clayton Kershaw trying to settle down a little bit. That first inning had to be very emotional, and he actually did more than I think people would expect. The fact he gave up a double and a run batted into Albert Pujols is almost, of course, but he struck out the side. Left-hander ready, and a fastball on the corner for a strike to Izturis. Cesar doing very well. He and Troy Gloss have hooked up to play the left side of the infield exceptionally well for the Cardinals. The strike one pitch is off the plate, 1-1. Cesar, as you know, a switch hitter. Big numbers hitting right-handed. He's batting .313. Kershaw comes back 1-1, and it's fouled away. 1-2 the count. So Kershaw struck Schumacher on a fastball up around the letters, struck out Ludwig with a fastball down around the knees, and then struck out Gloss with a knee-buckling curveball. The 1-2 pitch, curveball, fouled off. It should also be noted in the minutes of the last meeting that it was Albert Pujols straightening out a Kershaw curveball on a 3-2 pitch and doubled. Young left-hander's 1-2 pitch on the way inside. In his entire career, Clayton Kershaw has always struck out more hitters than innings pitched, anywhere and everywhere. 2-2 pitch on the way, fastball very high, ball 3. Cardinals are interested in him. They've heard all about him, though most of the birds are sitting up on the rail taking a good look at the 20-year-old left-hander. The 3-2 pitch on the way is grounded wide of first to Loney. James takes it to the bag, and we have 2 down here in the second inning. Now, one of the things the Dodgers will be very concerned with, Cardinals could care less except to watch him pitch. But the one thing the Dodgers are worrying about will be his pitch count. You know they're going to really give him the silk glove treatment, and he made 32 pitches in the first inning. So Joe Torre, Rick Honeycutt, they all want to be very, very careful. They're talking about, at best, that his first year, he would maybe pitch 170 innings, tops, between now and whenever the season ends. Well, with 32 in the first inning, he's now up to 41 pitches, and Todd Wellemeyer, the pitcher, hits 8th in the lineup, takes a strike. Remember, La Russa, ever since last year, hits the pitcher 8th. Somebody else bats 9th. He figures that gives Albert Pujols more of an opportunity to come up with somebody on base. The pitch to Wellemeyer, a strike, 0-2. Tony, of course, has won 2,405 games doing things his way. Big curveball swung on and missed. The out recorded at first. 4 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. Nice way for him to begin at the end of an inning and a half, a 1-1 tie. Bottom of the second inning, a 1-1 tie. Talking about Clayton Kershaw being 20 years old, and we were talking about all the younger pitchers who broke in. And I mentioned Joe Nuxhall, and it just struck me to remind you when Joe Nuxhall relieved in a give-up game for Cincinnati against St. Louis. Nuxhall gave up 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He was 15 years and 10 months old. It was the war. In fact, and this is the point, as we sit here watching the game today, it was just 6 days after the invasion of Europe when Joe Nuxhall pitched against St. Louis. So we were trying to concentrate on a child's game, and men were dying for us on the beach in France. The strike 1 pitch on the way to James Loney is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. And on this Memorial Day weekend, a holiday, and we're always busy thinking about things to do and barbecues and family fun, etc. Boy, don't ever lose the real reason behind why we pause. And celebrate is not really the word, but we use it. It is really a time to think. Price of freedom is always very high. Loney hits one down the left field line. Barton racing over, but it's going to wind up in the stands. And a 1 ball and 2 strike count. James Loney has always been considered a contact hitter. Last night he struck out 3 times, and the night before twice. For Loney to strike out 5 times in 2 games is really news. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a high fastball is swung on and missed. He went after a bad ball. Loney looks very much like a very confused hitter right now. That ball was up, sailing away from him. A couple of weeks ago he would have taken that, but right now he's just up there hacking and paying the price. It'll get into your head too. So Loney has now struck out 6 times in this 3-game series. Cardinals and Dodgers tied up 1-1. And the first pitch to Matt Kemp is on the corner for a strike. 0-1. Kemp struck out 3 times last night. Wellemeyer looks in to get a sign. Todd ready in the strike 1 pitch. Check swing for a strike. And a no ball 2 strike count to Matt Kemp. Wellemeyer came into the game with 49 strikeouts and 22 walks. A hair better than 2-1. 1-1, bottom of the second. 0-2 the count. Now the next pitch in the dirt, down and dirty, blocked by LaRue. Ball kicks away and they'll put a new one in play. Just to get back to Joe Nuxhall. Joe Nuxhall made that appearance, 15 years old, on June the 10th. And of course, D-Day was June the 6th, 4 days later. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way, and that's strike 3 called. So 2 of the young Dodgers are starting to go through some problems now, and it happens to all of them. So Loney strikes out, Kemp strikes out, and the batter is Blake DeWitt. Now he's the one young player who so far has held his own. Well, we'll see what happens to him as Kemp takes a seat alongside Loney. Blake DeWitt hitting .315. 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Wellemeyer starts him with a strike, and the count 0-1. DeWitt has struck out 19 times since he's been up. Blake struck out in the 9th inning last night against Perez, who struck out the side, if you remember. Perez nailed Loney, Kemp, and DeWitt. And in the first game of the series, DeWitt struck out twice. So all of a sudden the Cardinals, without their aces, without Mulder, without Carpenter, are blowing down the kids. And the pitch is popped up on the right side. Albert Pujols coming in, squinting up into the sunlight, and puts it away. So the Dodgers tiptoe through the second inning, and at the end of 2, a 1-1 tie. Third inning in a 1-1 tie, and Clayton Kershaw ready to go to work. The young left-hander will face Brendan Ryan, who is playing second base today and fouls off the first one, and the count 0-1. Brendan Ryan is from Los Angeles, went to school, however, at Lewis and Clark State College. 6'2", 195, and he's the one with the, well, he calls it a tick. We'll take a close-up on television. He bites his shoulder, at least it looks like he bites his shoulder, on every pitch. And he just constantly lifts that shoulder and fouls another one off, and they count 1-2. Brendan Ryan wears number 13. And you would say, well, he is not superstitious. Then again, by wearing 13, maybe he is. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Curveball and a pitch up. Backhanded at short by Hu. The throw, however, is late. So that was a hanger. It was way up and slow. And it'll be a single for Brendan Ryan. What a day for young Clayton Kershaw. May the 25th. There was his name on a major league lineup card, full of energy, rushing out to the mound, and began by striking out Schumacher with a high fastball, Ludwig with a lower fastball, and a big curveball for strike 3 call to Troy Glaus. What a way to break in. He was also baptized by Cardinal Albert Pujols and his mom, Mary Ann, keeping score of her son's first game in the big leagues. So now with a runner at first, nobody out, we'll see, among other things, about whether A, he has pretty much of a slide step, and B, does he have a move to first. Ryan, over there at first, stole 7 bases last year for the Cardinals. The pitch at the plate to the left-hand hitting Schumacher is low, ball 1, 1-0. Ryan has stolen 2 out of 3. And Schumacher, who struck out on that letter-high fastball at the plate. 1-1 tie. Fastball is low. 2-0 the count. Talking about numbers, Clayton Kershaw is wearing number 54. And in looking, quite a few names, prominent names in the Dodger history book, wearing 54. 2-0 pitch on the way is a fastball strike. Go back to catcher Dixie Howell, outfielder Carl Warwick, coach Monty Basgall, Tim Leary, who was a 17-game winner in that marvelous 1988 season. Tim wore number 54. If he pitches as well as Leary did that year, he'll really be something, because Tim Leary in 1988 not only won 17 games, he had 9 complete games and a half a dozen shutouts. John Candelaria, the big stringy left-hander, wore 54. Chopper to short. Who was on the bag? Doubles him at first. And just like that, 2 down. So Schumacher, the only left-hand hitter in the lineup, is Torres a switch hitter, and Schumacher has struck out and grounded into the double play. 6-3 if you're scoring, and with 2 out, Brian Barton coming up. Giovanni Carrara, when he was here, wore 54. DJ Holton as well. Omar Dahl, another left-hander. You may remember him. Catcher Henry Blanco wore 54. Greg's brother, Mike Maddox, wore 54. So anyway, Clayton has inherited a pretty good number. The 1-0 pitch, fastball lifted to right center. It's playable. Andre Ethier moving to his right and one-hands it for the out. So for Kershaw, settling down on only 10 pitches after 12 pitches in the second inning, and at the end of 2.5, a 1-1 tie. 1-1 tie as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Chin Lung Hu will start it off, followed by Clayton Kershaw, and then Juan Pierre. Kershaw is so full of beans in his major league debut, he couldn't sit down in the dugout, and he was out in the on-deck circle long before Hu even came up the steps of the dugout, but you can understand. Can he swing the bat? Have no idea. Had no time in reading about him and checking on his biography, background in baseball. No idea whether he can swing the bat at all, but we'll soon find out. Chin Lung Hu kind of backs off, takes a fastball for a strike, and the count 0-1. Shortstop hitting 197, and the Dodgers, of course, really missing Rafael Furcal as Hu fouls it away. And it is bad news not only that Rafael is not playing, or he has been out for so long, but he's not even to make the road trip. Rafael will stay back. Strike 2 pitch way off the plate. Of course, one of the big problems with the road trip is the airplane flights if you have a bad back. And of course, the last flight of the road trip is a brutal one, late at night from coast to coast. The 1-2 pitch down and away. The Dodgers in New York on Sunday night, June the 1st, will play an 8 p.m. game in New York, then fly all night to get home to play Colorado Monday night. So that is not exactly what you want when you have a back condition. Who, meanwhile, takes strike 3. Third strikeout for Wellemeyer. Kershaw has 4, and young Clayton coming up to the plate. In his minor league career, and even that, there's only 15 at-bats in Double-A. He had 2 singles in his career, so it doesn't tell you very much. We can tell you, left-hand hitter with an open stance. And the first pitch to Clayton, he has a look at his strike, and the count 0-1. So with his mom watching, his uncle watching, his girlfriend watching, her mom is here. He hits a ground ball to short. Up with it there is his Torres to get him. So Clayton grounding out 2 down. Just in listening and feeling the enthusiasm from the crowd, the presence of Kershaw today makes it a very special occasion. And this crowd loving every moment. Boy, did they love to see the 3 strikeouts in the first inning. So now with 2 down in the third, Juan Pierre coming up. Juan Pierre grounded to third in the first inning. Big high hopper And Troy Gloss, who was born to reach up and handle high hoppers, was able to get it and throw him out. Troy at 6'5", so he can go get him with the best of them. So Pierre waiting, bunted for a base hit last night, bunted by tapping the ball towards shortstop. Takes way inside, has to jackknife to get out of the way of it. Ball one. So Pierre took a page out of Furcall's book, or maybe Furcall took a page out of Pierre's book, just trying to bunt the ball to the shortstop. He takes high, ball two. If you can get it wide of third, so wide that the third baseman can't cut it off, shortstop really can't make a play. But the trick is to get it in that direction. Pierre takes a strike, 2-1 the count. Juan batting .287. He's hit a very consistent .298 all month. The 2-1 pitch swung on, popped foul out of play. 2-2. So the Cardinals got a run in the first inning with one out. Barton walked, and Albert Pujols hit a 3-2 curveball inside third down the line to score Barton on the double. The Dodgers in the bottom of the first had Luis Mazza hit a home run, his first major league home run, to tie it up. 2-2 pitch to Pierre, full swing foul, so Juan is still there. Dodgers going out on the road. They'll play Chicago for 3-4 against the Mets. Dodgers are one game under .500 on the road, 3 above at home. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Pierre drives it to center. Going back and over to his left is Schumacher to pick it off, and that's the inning. So at the end of 3, in a rather exciting 3 strikeouts and a home run, it's a 1-1 tie. Clayton Kershaw will now face Albert Pujols a second time. Pujols went 3-2, got a curveball, hit it inside third and down the line for a double to drive in a run. And Kershaw was christened in the major leagues. Ball one. Pujols, without a doubt, the most consistent player, maybe as consistent as anyone who ever played the game. We were talking about it the other night. Just listen to these numbers. 330 at home, 333 on the road, 336 in the daytime, 329 at night, 323 in the first half, 342 in the second half, 336 against left-handers, 330 against righties, 344 with runners in scoring position, 378 when the bases are full, and as a pinch hitter, 353. I mean, just how consistent can you be? Ground ball to short, Chin Lung Hu. One away. And of course, the other thing about Albert Pujols, with all of his power, he just doesn't strike out. Unbelievable. Joe DiMaggio in his first 6 years struck out, well, let's put it this way. Pujols is a Joe D of modern times. 58 times he struck out last year, that's all. Big curveball for a strike. 0-1 to Ludwig. Now Ludwig struck out on a fastball at the knees. Schumacher struck out on a fastball at the letters, and Gloss looked at a curveball. 0-2. Russell Martin has said that Kershaw has the best curveball he's ever caught. Not that Martin has been around that long, but still, it's a statement. Fastball got him. So Kershaw throwing BBs up there, and he has struck out 5. And his mom writing another K in her scorebook. And it was the same pitch, letter high fastball, that got Schumacher. And he just raised his sights against Ludwig. And the batter is Troy Gloss. He struck out Gloss looking at the curveball in the first inning. Fastball away. 1 ball and no strikes. Haven't seen a changeup. Haven't seen him try to. Maybe he took a little off his curve. Drops that in there. 1-1. Kershaw, ideal size, 6'3", 210. Curveball, but it stayed up. And now the crowd doing a little umpiring. 2 balls and 1 strike. And you can see what he's done. He'll go from a 97 fastball to a 7.2 mile-an-hour curve. Fastball hit late, popped up into shallow right. Mazza in the middle, and it's Mazza for the catch. So a nice easy inning for Clayton Kershaw. And at the end of 3.5 innings, it remains a 1-1 tie. So far, very exciting in a 1-1 tie. Clayton Kershaw in his debut, 4 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. And Luis Mazza hits a curveball into the left field seats for his first major league home run. And you can't miss the contrast. You have a 20-year-old, 2 years out of high school, pitching in the major leagues. And you have Luis Mazza, 9 years in the minor leagues. 28 years old. He was signed 11 years ago to a professional contract. And of course, that's the story of life, isn't it? Some fellas get all kinds of laurels at a very early age, and others struggle and struggle. And it's nice to see Mazza get a payoff with a home run. 1-2 to Luis from Venezuela. Fastball hit to short. Cesar Estores, a Gold Glove shortstop. 1 away. The Cardinals are trying to sweep the Dodgers here in Los Angeles. The last time that happened was July of 2006. Andre Ethier flied to center in his only trip. Dodgers trying to avoid the sweep with St. Louis. You know, the last time they were swept by the Astros, it happened right here during this homestand. Well, not this homestand, but this year. The Astros swept Torrey and company for the first time at Dodger Stadium since 1992. And with all of their problems, the Dodgers are 3.5 games behind Arizona. 1-1. Ball 2. Talking about Arizona, Micah Owings beat Tom Glavine. The D-backs nailed the Braves 9-3 to win 2 out of 3. They won 10-1 and 9-3, and the D-backs lost 3-1 on a 2-run home run in the 9th inning by Jeff Francoeur. The ball is gobbled, and holding on at first base is Andre Ethier. Looked like Ludwig was going to make that catch, but he couldn't do it.
Number 55, Russell Martin.
Diving try, and it hit the glove, but he was unable to hold on to it. So a 1-out single to right, and Russell Martin the batter. Martin flied to right field in the first inning. Hitting cleanup today with Jeff Kent taking the day off. Fastball strike. 0-1. Dodgers head for Chicago for a 3-game series starting tomorrow. And it'll be Billingsley against Ryan Dempster. At the start, 0-2. In the series, Billingsley against Dempster. Kuroda will go against Gallagher. And Lowe will go against Zambrano. That'll be the matchups for the next 3 games. Cubs tied for first place with the Cardinals. 0-2. And a drive to center and deep. Back goes Schumacher to the track at the wall. It is off the wall. Around third comes Ethier to score. Martin a big turn, and he is safe at second base. And the Dodgers lead 2-1. So Martin bangs one off the center field wall. Fastball up and out over the plate. For Russell, his 8th double and his 19th run batted in. And by the time he gets back, there was no play on Ethier. He scored easily. And now James Loney coming up with Martin at second base. So Ethier carries in the run. The Dodgers take a 2-1 lead, and Clayton Kershaw, for the first time in his young life, is actually out in front in a major league game. Big moment. So James Loney now struck out in the second innings, having troubles striking out 3 straight at-bats, 4 of his last 5, and 7 times in the 3-game series. Ball 1. Well, it happens to all of them. They get to thinking too much, slip into a slump, and then they have to fight their way out of it. 1 ball and no strikes. And fouled away, 1-1. Martin came awfully close to hitting it out right there. And then it bounced back over the glove of Skip Schumacher. Russell came within inches of hitting a home run. It would have been his 4th. 1 ball and 1 strike. Loney trying to pick him up. And a little foul out of play. 1-2. Dodgers 2 runs, 3 hits. Cardinals 1 run, 2 hits. Todd Wellemeyer and Clayton Kershaw. Wellemeyer with broad shoulders, huh? 1-2. Back. Russell Martin has just doubled in Andre Ethier. The Dodgers lead 2-1. Dodgers enjoying their first lead in the series. Remember, they lost 2-1 finally, but they were down 2-0. Then last night they weren't in the game; they were shut down 4-0. So Ethier, listening to Mike Eastler, singled and came home on the double by Martin. Jason LaRue out to talk to Todd Wellemeyer. Wellemeyer 6'3". He needs those broad shoulders to carry a multi-syllabic name. Looks like the hanger was left in that shirt, huh? One and 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to James Loney. The battle of the managers. Of course, they agree that a game is not really between the 2 managers, but their judgment certainly is always on the line. And we have 2 of the more successful managers ever. Ground ball to first, and the feed by Pujols to Wellemeyer for the second out. Remember the trivia question we gave you talking about Kershaw being so young? And the question, who are the only 3 pitchers under 20 to make their debut with the LA Dodgers? Well, the 3 would be Fernando Valenzuela, Dick Kalmus, and Joe Moeller. They're all 19. And of course, history has kind of pushed Kalmus and Moeller aside, but Fernando, he'll live forever here. So here's Matt Kemp. Breaking ball, ball 1. Dodgers lead 2-1 in the 4th inning, trying to avoid a sweep. Talking about the successful managers, Tony La Russa has won 2,405 games. He is recognized as one of the truly bright baseball managers. In postseason play, Tony has won 59 games. And then you have Joe Torre. He's won 2,092 games, winning 76 in the postseason. 1-1. 1-2. Tony La Russa, among other things, has a law degree. He grew up really with Lou Piniella in the Tampa area. They played on the same American Legion teams. And Tony is known for his love of animals. You know, one year, Tony brought 14 pets to spring training. 9 cats, 3 dogs, and 2 rats. 1-2 to Matt Kemp. Chopper to third, up with it is Gloss, the long throw on the money, and that's it. Well, the Dodgers get a run, the single by Ethier and the double by Martin. And at the end of 4, 2-1 Dodgers. Jason LaRue will start it off. Cesar Izturis and the pitcher Todd Wellemeyer. Fastball slapped into right field for a base hit. So LaRue, he's out of Texas. He's from Spring Branch, Texas, and went to Dallas Baptist, getting that base hit against the pride of Highland Park. Outside of Dallas, Clayton Kershaw. So the time runs aboard, and here comes Izturis. Izturis has 1 sacrifice, but of course, remember, the pitcher bats 8th in the lineup. Wellemeyer is on deck. Fastball, strike. Cesar Izturis. Boy, he was a wonderful player here. And a good guy. Still has very much of a boyish quality about him. Ground ball to the right side. Mazza to who? Back to first, not nearly in time. Izturis still flies. So with 1 out, the batter will be Todd Wellemeyer. A reminder looking ahead, you know, Saturday, June the 7th, the Dodgers host the Cubs. All kids 14 and under receive a ticket to Universal Studios Hollywood. To double your fun, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Wellemeyer, pretty good bunter. He has 3 sacrifices. And let's see if he tries to get it down. It's a strike. Wellemeyer checking with Jose Aquindo in the third base coaching box. Cardinals have really given the Dodgers a bad time for the last 4 years. Bunt foul back, 0-2. The last 32 games since 2004, and the Cardinals have won 24 and losing only 8. For Kershaw, and again, his pitch count very, very important. Made 5 pitches so far, 70 in the game, not bad at all. 0-2 to Wellemeyer. One and 2. Again, Wellemeyer checking. Wellemeyer does have 4 hits and 2 runs batted in, and he has struck out about half the time. And he bunts back to Kershaw, who goes to first. So Wellemeyer does his job, advancing his Izturis to second, and with 2 down, it will be Brendan Ryan, the local boy, playing second base for Adam Kennedy today. Brendan Ryan, signed by the Cardinals 5 years ago. He's the boy with that unusual habit. It certainly looks like he bites his shoulder on every pitch. Came up last year and hit 289. There he goes. And again and again. Oh and 1. Brendan is 6'2", 195, 26 years old. Somebody asked, and you can imagine he's being interviewed all the time, about why does it appear like you're biting your left shoulder? Ryan said, everybody asks about it. Dude, I don't know. Everybody else should be doing it. You figure he's a beach boy from Los Angeles? Well, he is from L.A. Boundless in energy, that's what they say about him. 0-2, hitting .297. Kershaw almost got burned. Pujols had third base stolen in the first inning, so Clayton now trying to do a better job of keeping an eye on the base runner. At second base, you have his Turris, who is certainly capable of stealing. Fastball blew him away, down and in. Down goes Ryan. 6 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw in 5 innings, and the Kershaw Marching and Chowder Society continues. 2-1 Dodgers. Dodgers lead the Cardinals 2-1, and just as interesting is the fact that Clayton Kershaw has really settled down. We'll give you the way his pitch count is spread out in a minute, but right now Blake DeWitt takes the strike. Remember the first inning when Kershaw struck out the side? He made 32 pitches, but did he ever settle in? And that's going to be hit to straightaway center. Schumacher, a diving catch. Good play by Skip. One away. And DeWitt losing a possible base hit. Anyway, after the 32 pitches in the first inning, Kershaw made only 12 pitches in the second inning. He made 10 pitches in the third inning. He made 11 pitches in the fourth inning. And he made only 10 pitches in the fifth inning. So 43 pitches in 4 innings after 32 in the first inning. So he has really started to feel at home. One out. Chin-Lung Hu struck out in the third inning. Wellemeyer has struck out 3. Little ground ball to his Turris. He has to throw on the run, right on the money. 2 down. And Kershaw coming up.
Pitcher number 54, Clayton Kershaw.
So Cesar Asturias doing a solid job for the Cardinals. And now here's young Clayton. Grounded out in the third inning. 0 for 1. And a strike. Open stance, not as pronounced as Luis Gonzalez, but at right foot much closer than the left. 0-2 to Clayton. When the Cardinals come up in the 6th inning, the top of the order, Schumacher, Barton, and Pujols. In the dirt, gets away. LaRue picks it up and throws him out. So down go the Dodgers, 1, 2, 3, and at the end of 5, it's 2-1 Dodgers. It's only my opinion, but of all the players who have ever played this game, there is one name that will live forever more than any of the others. That would be Babe Ruth. And on this day in 1935, Babe Ruth, who once upon a time was a whale of a left-hand pitcher, but then became an outfielder, finally said goodbye to Major League Baseball. He was in the National League playing against Pittsburgh at Forbes Field. He had a home run in the lower deck. Next time up, he had a home run in the upper deck. And then his third home run, they say, might have gone 600 feet over the roof of Forbes Field and out of sight for number 714. Let's go back to this one. And a strike. 0-1 the count. Clayton Kershaw could get a victory. He has gone the required 5. Facing Skip Schumacher, the only left-hand hitter in the lineup. And Schumacher has struck out and grounded into a double play. Schumacher went from Loyola Marymount to UC Santa Barbara. He was a pitcher in college, and down he goes again. So Kershaw has just eaten him up. 7 strikeouts for Clayton. It started with Schumacher with a fastball. Then he picked it up against Brian Ludwig with another fastball. And since then, he's just moved on to strikeout 7. Schumacher paying Kershaw the ultimate compliment. After he struck out, he walked back to the dugout looking back at Kershaw. Oh, and 1 to count to Brian Barton, who walked and flied to right. Barton majored in aerospace engineering. 0-2 the count. Now there's a Brian Barton and a Brian Barton. How about that? B-A-R-D-E-N is an infielder. B-A-R-T-O-N an outfielder. Little flare back of first. Loney can't hold it. And it's a fair ball. So holding on at first is Barton. Loney had a lot of trouble, I think, with the glare. Even though he had the sunglasses on, he was fighting it, using his glove, dropping to his knees, and the ball actually, I think, hit him on the head, didn't it? Wow. Take another look. He lost it, and zonk. Yeah. Well, that'll be a highlight film. It'll go as a base hit and a headache for James Loney. Hit number 4. And that brings up Albert Pujols, and you couldn't blame Clayton Kershaw if he thinks Pujols bats every inning. Ground ball, foul. I would think every pitcher in the league has that feeling. Pujols doubled on a 3-2 curveball to drive in Barton for the only Cardinal run. Last time up, grounded out. No balls, 1 strike. Fastball, little up, 1-1. Brian Barton over at first base has 1 stolen base. You don't expect him to be running with Pujols up there, but they have to keep an eye on him anyway. 1-1. Fastball, strike. He's consistent at 94. And occasionally even higher than that. No doubt the Dodgers talking to him before the game about staying within yourself. Don't try to overthrow. 1-2. And the curveball stayed up and in. The crowd wanted that, but it wasn't close. 73-mile-an-hour curveball. So kind of a David and Goliath here. Kershaw against Pujols. And another attempt at a breaking ball, but it's way up. 72 miles an hour. And of course, if you're going to throw that number on a curveball, you might as well keep it up around the eyes. 3-2, second time he's gone full to Pujols. Waiting on deck, Brian Ludwig. Runner goes, and it's going to be hit into right field. Barton lost sight of the ball for a minute, but he can keep on going to third. The same old Pujols, no matter who's pitching, no matter what's going on, he's 2 for 3 as he singles to right on a 3-2 pitch after doubling to left on a 3-2 pitch in the first inning. And now Rick Honeycutt going out to try and talk to Clayton. Dodger bullpen will start to throw. They'll get Corey Wade up. The batter is Ryan Ludwig, and Jose Aquindo wants to talk to Ludwig because Ludwig has struggled at the plate. Ludwig struck out in the first inning, blown away by a fastball at the knees, and then next time up in the fourth inning, struck out on a fastball up around the letters. Ludwig has struck out 38 times this year. For Clayton Kershaw, he had a 3-2 count on Pujols in the first inning. Then he had one other 3-2 count in the third inning. And now he goes 3-2 to Pujols in the sixth, and he gets another base hit. So let's see about Ludwig. Hitting .341. Ball one. Barton down the line from third. Pujols at first, one out. Don't really have any record about wild pitches as far as Kershaw is concerned. Fastball hit to third. DeWitt goes high to the plate. The run scores. A good throw would have gotten Barton. And when you throw on the run, there is always the risk of releasing the ball too soon, and that's what happened. So DeWitt charging the ball through high, and the game is tied. It'll be a fielder's choice. Ludwig at first, Pujols to second, and Barton scoring on the play. Though Martin never had a chance to block, he had to go up and get it. In fact, Russell made a fine play. Otherwise, that throw goes to the backstop. So it's 2-2 in the sixth. And the batter is Troy Gloss, who struck out and popped up 0 for 2. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Good fastball. He's still throwing nice and easy. He just hit 95. 0-1 to Gloss. 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. And wouldn't you know that 1 walk scored? That was in the first inning. He walked Barton, and Pujols doubled him in. 0-1. Fastball. So he's got plenty left in the tank. 95 and 96 here in the sixth inning. Dodgers will have the top of their order. Pierre, Mazza, and Ethier in the bottom of the sixth. 2 on. Pujols at second, Ludwig at first. 1 out. No balls, 2 strikes. One and two, all fastballs. That was 95. One and two. Fastball pulled foul. That took out a few rows of chairs. A broken bat, and Gloss will have to get another. Troy hitting .273 with 2 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Remember that Pujols stole third and had it stolen in the first inning, but Ludwig fouled off the pitch. Well, with a hitter like Gloss up there and Blake DeWitt playing pretty deep at third, Kershaw has to keep an eye, especially on Pujols. 1 and 2 to Troy Gloss. Jason LaRue hitting back of him. Bounced that curveball. Nice block by Russell Martin. 2 and 2. So Martin has made 2 very good plays. If he doesn't go up in the air to catch the throw by DeWitt, the Cardinals have runners at second and third. And now he just prevented a wild pitch to put them up again to second and third. 2-2 to Troy Glaus. 1 out. Fastball lifted to shallow right field. Mazza's in the middle again and makes the catch, and the runners have to hold. So Glaus, a pop fly. He did that back in the 4th inning. Exact same play. And Mazza shows you after 9 years in the minor leagues, he is not going to be distracted. He's not going to worry about the right fielder colliding with him. He's not going to worry about the first baseman. He goes out there dedicated to get the ball. He didn't spend 9 years down there to shy away. So with 2 out, Jason LaRue, the batter. Grounded out, single to right. Interesting. Remember when Frank Robinson played and he used to get hit by pitches? He crowded home plate so much. He held the Cincinnati record for a long time. In 1956, Frank was hit 20 times. However, Jason LaRue tied the mark in 2003 and wound up the next year being hit 24 times for the record for Cincinnati. 0-1 the count. The Jason LaRue in a battle of 2 young men from Texas. Jason 5'11", 205, 34 years old, originally drafted by the Reds. Slow curveball, strike 2. That was 72. That's really the change, that big curveball. Oh, how I remember that curveball to Sean Casey in Vero Beach. Maybe you saw it on TV when the Dodgers played the Red Sox. Fastball, 1-2. So we'll go from 72 to 94, 95, back down again. One and two to Jason LaRue. He plays once a week, giving Yadier Molina a rest. Breaking ball, and he fought it off. LaRue, the last few years, he hit 148 for the Royals last year, and Clayton Kershaw now up to 100. This very well could be his last inning. Year before with the Reds, he had 194, so I guess the reason why he's with the Cardinals. 1-2 to Jason. Fastball, 2-2. And again, he hit 95. So 2 on, 2 out. The deuces are wild indeed in a 2-2 tie. And it's a drive to left. Going back is Pierre. He's got it. So Kershaw might be done for the day, but he has survived. He allowed 2 runs, 5 hits while striking out 7. And the Kershaw family cheering him on as he goes to the dugout. Pierre, Mazza, and Ethier looking down in the Dodger dugout after having made 100 pitches, technically 102. Kershaw went back in and sat down. Did not put the windbreaker on. There's no one throwing in the Dodger bullpen, but now they're starting to move around for a second time down there. And Corey Wade is standing up but just watching the game. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit for Pierre to go 1 for 3. So Pierre will try to put some heat on Wellemeyer. He has stolen 18 out of 22. And the Dodger bullpen, they're walking around down there. Wade is up, and he hasn't thrown yet. And the batter is Luis Mazza. And now Kershaw puts on the windbreaker. protect that very valuable left arm. Mazza hit his first major league home run after 9 years in the minors in the first inning. Grounded out in the fourth. Mazza has not been asked to sacrifice. Loss on the edge of the grass. Pujols ready to push off at first. Ethier on deck. And he got the bunt foul. 0-1. Joe Torre trying to avoid a sweep. He already felt the sting when the Astros did it here for the first time since 1992, and he's trying to avoid a Cardinal sweep for the first time since 2006. Wellemeyer is due to bat second when the Cardinals hit in the seventh. 2-2, bottom of the sixth. And the bunt is down. Good bunt. Wellemeyer runs it over to Pujols, and on the sacrifice, Pierre goes to second. And with one out, the batter will be Andre Ethier. Ethier flied to center and single to right. And for Mazza, he does his job. He made two gutty pop fly catches in right. He hit a home run, and now he gets the sacrifice down. And his teammates, appropriately enough, give him 5. So Andre Ethier followed by Russell Martin. Ethier 1 for 2, batting .291. Hope you make your plans to be here when the Dodgers have their next homestand. Colorado and the Chicago Cubs. 0-1. Monday night, June 2nd, will begin the next homestand after the Dodgers go to Chicago and New York. Dodgers are desperate. I mean desperate to get a base hit with runners in scoring position. Fly ball to left field, but playable. Barton is there. Pierre goes back to tag, but it's too late. 2 down. Now that Ethier has flied out, would you believe the Dodgers are now 0 for 16 in the series and 0 for 26 going back to the Red Series, trying to get a base hit with runners in scoring position. I mean, it is a drought. Here is Martin, who doubled in Ethier. Ethier was at first base, so technically not in scoring position. Hit the top of the center field wall for his double. Brendan Ryan not only plays up the middle, he's just about on the grass at second base. So that's the way La Russa wants it. Pujols just about all alone on the right side of the infield, with Ryan playing a short center field almost. And that's going to be a base hit. Here comes Pierre to score, and the Dodgers take a 3-2 lead, and they finally get a hit with a runner in scoring position for Clayton Kershaw.
James Loney.
3 runs and 5 hits for the Dodgers. Pierre singles, Mazza sacrifices, and Martin picks him up. So now James Loney, who has struck out and grounded out. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 3-2 Dodgers. Kershaw could be looking at a win. Long way to go. 0-1. Only hitting .279, 5 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Seesaw ball game. Cardinals led 1-0. Dodgers came back to tie 1-1. Dodgers led 2-1. Cardinals came back to tie 2-2. And now the Dodgers lead 3-2. Dodgers must win to remain 3.5 back of Arizona. The D-backs pounded Atlanta today. Micah Owings beating Tommy Glavine. 0-2. 1-2. Cardinals will have Izturis, Wellemeyer, Spot, and Ryan. No one throwing in the Dodger bullpen, but the way Kershaw is standing up, leaning on the railing, wearing a windbreaker, can't expect that he would go back out there. Pop fly, a trio of birds, and it will be the right fielder Ludwig. But Martin drives in the run. Pierre carries it in, and Kershaw goes 6 and goes out winning 3-2. It has been a remarkable day for young Clayton Kershaw this 25th of May. His name in a major league starting lineup and all wound up going out to the mound. In the first inning, he struck out the side while giving up a run, but he had a great fastball plus a very good curveball, and he moved along to strikeout 7 with his mom and his girlfriend and her mom and his uncle. Finally, a pat on the back from his teammates, a job well done for 6. So in his debut, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Big day for Luis Mazza, his first career home run. And for Russell Martin, he has driven in 2 of the Dodgers' 3 runs. Corey Wade will now pick up, facing Cesar Izturis. A couple of things about Kershaw as we watch Corey Wade. Kershaw got a first pitch strike to 9 of his last 10 batters, so he was zeroed in. He also held the Cards without a hit with runners in scoring position. The Cardinals went 0 for 5 against him, and he really shut down the numbers 4 and 5 hitters. They went 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position because he struck out Ludwig twice. He also got Gloss on a strikeout, and they were 0 for 4 with a bird ready to be picked up. And ball 4, bad way for Corey Wade to begin in a 1-run game, walking the first man he faces. You know, if you'd like preferred field box, or infield reserve seats for 5 games at up to 60% off, well, then check out the MasterCard Value Pack. To get in on this deal, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/special.
Batting for Wellemeyer,
Rick Ankiel will now come up and bat for Wellemeyer. And here comes Joe Torre. He had Joe Beimel down in the pen just in case, and it has materialized. So Ankiel, a left-hand hitter, and Joe Beimel will be brought in to pitch to him. Wade comes out, and we'll be back. The sun came out today because of young Clayton Kershaw's debut. It certainly was shining at Dodger Stadium while he was out there. Now we still have some bright blue overhead and a lot of puffy white clouds as Joe Beimel comes in to face Rick Ankiel. Ankiel hitting .289, 8 home runs, 25 runs batted in. And they'll keep an eye on Izturis. Among other things, Izturis is 3 out of 6 in stolen bases. The old story, you play to win on the road, you play to tie at home, so you don't figure to see Ankiel trying to bunt. And ball 1. Rick Ankiel, once upon a time a pitcher. And of course, the Cardinals know all about a converted pitcher. Stan Musial was a pitcher, and they became one of the great hitters. Ankiel, 8 home runs, 25 ribbies. There goes his Turris, and the pitch fouled away. Oh my goodness. Ankiel is fit to be tied because his Turris had that base stolen easily. I mean, you want to talk about getting a jump on a left-hand pitcher. Wow. Look at this. I mean, there was no chance to catch him. None. And Ankiel fouled it off. So Rick walks away in disgust, now back up to the plate. His Turris will never come closer to stealing another base. And you bet that Joe Beimel knows he'll keep a better eye out on him. Wednesday, Rick Ankiel had a pinch hit home run. One and one. There goes his Turris. Got another big jump. Steals it easily. The throw goes into center field, and his Turris goes to third. Well, he got such a big jump on the second pitch to Ankiel. I never thought the Dodgers would allow him to steal, and he got another great jump. And Martin didn't stand much of a chance, threw it in the dirt, and it went on out into center. Though his Turris read him easily, so a stolen base and the throwing error charged to Martin, and the tying run 90 feet away with nobody out. Two and two to Ankiel. Dodger infield is up. The outfield split shaded to left. On the hands, fouled away. Almost got the on deck hitter, Brendan Ryan. Ankiel, we mentioned it the other night, had a 17 pitch at bat against Milwaukee. Fouled off 11, including 7 straight with a 3-2 count. And not this time. So Ankiel strikes out. His Turris still at third, 1 out. Say, do you want to get real-time video highlights of your favorite team sent straight to your phone? Text Dodgers alerts to MLBGO. That's 65246 on your AT&T wireless phone. Sign up for video alerts. Well, now Joe Torre with the right hand hitting Brendan Ryan going back to the mound. Big Jonathan Broxton is down in the bullpen, and Joe will bring him in. Now we'll see about La Russa, whether he stays with Brendan Ryan or not. We'll find out after this. Cardinals have the tying run 90 feet away at third. Aaron Miles, a switch hitting infielder, will come up and battle Jonathan Broxton. Miles gives you a small strike zone as he tries to get his Turris home. Miles is 5'8", 180, and Big John will go head to head with him. In the past, Miles 1 for 4. Aaron has come up with the White Sox, the Rockies, and now the Cardinals as he checks in against Broxton. Infield is up. And as a drive to center, Kemp has to go back to get it. His Turris tags will score easily, and the game is tied. So among other things that will disappoint Clayton Kershaw and his family, not to mention what it does to the Dodgers and Russell Martin. So they are no longer involved in the possibility of a win. They have nothing to do with it as Miles comes off the bench and gets the scoring fly ball. So the wheels of Cesar Izturis, stealing second on Beimel and taking third on Martin's throw. That's ball 1 to Skip Schumacher. Schumacher is 0 for 3, struck out, hit into a double play, struck out again, but all those at-bats were against Kershaw. 1-0. And ball 2 as that dribbles behind the plate umpire. Back there, Phil. So it was 1-0 Cardinals, then 1-1, then 2-1 Dodgers, then 2-2, then 3-2 Dodgers, and now 3-3. Kershaw, Wade, Beimel, and Broxton, and Wellemeyer went 6, and we'll see who comes out of the Cardinal bullpen in the 7th. Ball 3. Veteran Russ Springer has been down there throwing. Springer will be the man. Broxton has only walked 7 while striking out 24. And a strike. 2 out. Brian Barton on deck. Schumacher hitting .294. Skip with 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. 3-2. A hitter really has to feel like he has his back to the wall when Broxton has 2 strikes on him. Getting dark here. And ball 4. So Schumacher reaches for the first time today. Second walk in the inning.
Outfielder number 54, Brian Barton.
Brian Barton walked, fly to right, and then had the pop fly that Loney lost, and the pop fly actually hit Loney on top of the head. And that was cashed in when Ludwig hit the ground ball to DeWitt, who threw high to the plate. And remember, Russell Martin had to leap high in the air. So the Cardinals were fortunate to get the run in the 6th inning. The Dodgers were unlucky that Martin's ball just missed going out. And with 3-3. Time. Barton, who majored in aerospace engineering, was an intern at Boeing in El Segundo. Brian left Loyola Marymount because they did not have the course that he wanted. And that's why he wound up going to the University of Miami. One of the things that Barton did, and he wasn't very happy about it, in 350 minor league games, he was hit by the pitch 74 times. Schumacher at first, 2 out, 3-3, 7th inning. Fouled away, 1-1. Sky darker by the minute. Big, heavy, dirty looking clouds coming overhead. How in the world anybody can stand up there under these conditions and see a 95-mile-an-hour fastball? Hard to imagine. 1-1. Sometimes they don't see it. That was 95 right on the button. 1-2 to Brian Barton. He has walked and scored, flied to right, and then hit the pop fly that hit Loney on the head and scored. So 2 of the 3 runs for the Cardinals scored by batters who walked, and the other on the pop fly that hit Loney. Two and two. The old gag really applies here, where the hitter turns to the umpire and says that sounded kind of high. Though deuce is wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Schumacher at first, 3-3 tie in the 7th. So Barton strikes out. You expect that from Broxton, don't you? But not the fly ball up the bat of Aaron Miles. But Miles hung in there, and we're heading to the bottom of the seventh, 3-3. As we go to the bottom of the seventh inning, Tony La Russa rearranging
the bottom of the
his outfield and the infield as well. Rick Ankiel, who pinch hit for Wellemeyer, stays in the game in center field. Skip Shoemaker moves into left field. Aaron Miles takes over at second base. And veteran Russ Springer on the mound. 3-3 in the seventh. 0-1 to Matt Kemp, who has struck out and grounded to third. Matt batting .313. Springer comes into the ballgame with a 1-0 record. Springer fighting his control a little bit in the sense that he has struck out 8, but he has walked 7, and he's allowed 2 more hits than innings pitched. So he's had to work his own way out of trouble. His ERA is a little over 4. Three runs, 5 hits for each side. On the plate, right on the corner. 1-2. Springer's out of Louisiana, Alexandria. Russ 6'4", 225. Born in 1968. He's really been around. Went to school at LSU. Originally signed by the Yankees back in 1989. 2-2. Pass ball lifted to right center. A trio. Miles in the middle, but it is Ankiel making the catch. So Kemp a fly ball, 1 away in the seventh inning.
For the Dodgers, third baseman, number 33, Blake
Springer
DeWitt.
grew up in Louisiana as a big Cincinnati Reds fan, and he says his first job was hauling hay. He was teammates of Ben McDonald, Curtis Laskanik. They all pitch in the big leagues. Springer says he lives in the backwoods of Louisiana. And then he repeats saying, I mean, way out in the woods. If you hear a car coming, you know they're coming to your place. You remember 2 years ago when Russ was pitching against Barry Bonds? Remember that? Oh, yeah. He was thrown behind Barry. Seemed like throwing at his head. He finally hit Barry, and they suspended Russ for 4 games. And that was a game where the Giants were winning 14-3. Springer's first pitch went behind Bonds' back. The umpire, Joe West, warned him. 3 pitches came inside. The 4th one nailed Bonds. And that was it. Phil Garner, Springer's manager at the time, came out to argue. They were both with the Astros, and they were both kicked out of the game. Bonds never said a word, just went to first base. 1-2 to count. Check swing. Did he swing? Yep, they break the news to him. So down goes DeWitt. 2 out in the 7th inning. The batter will be Chin-Lun Hu.
Chin-Lun Hu.
3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. 1 error, but there could easily have been 2. The high throw by DeWitt was just ruled fielder's choice, play at the plate. And a bunt. Springer, bare hands and overruns the ball. So Springer had a play and he was unable to handle it. And Jonathan Broxton is now going to come up to bat. That's big news. I don't know the last time I saw Jonathan Broxton bat.
Now batting, pitcher,
Russ picks it up, comes up with a handful of empty, and he'll draw an error. So Jonathan Broxton, who knows his way to the mound, probably had to ask directions to go to the plate with 2 out. And ball 1. Looking at Jonathan Broxton's career, he did not have a plate appearance last year. In 06, he had 2 plate appearances. And he did not have an at-bat in 05. So this would be the 3rd plate appearance for Jonathan Broxton in over 3 years. 1-1. Joe holding off on Chan Ho Park is down in the bullpen, who has stopped throwing. 1-2. 3-3 in the 7th. By the way, Albert Pujols will start it off in the 8th. Yeah, maybe he does bat every inning. And a big chopper to the hole. Long throw. Got him. That was a fine play by Cesar Izturis, the Gold Glover of 2004. And he was just able to nip Big John at 290, going down the line and running well enough, too. And at the end of 7, a 3-3 tie. Today marked the debut of Clayton Kershaw, and he lived up to all the advanced talk and publicity. Young Clayton at 20 went 6 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, 5 hits, struck out the side in the first inning and wound up with 7 strikeouts, and in 6 strong innings made 102 pitches. He made 32 pitches in the first inning when I'm sure the butterflies were jumping around. The next 4 innings, he really pitched exceptionally well. And then in the 6th inning, after a little pop fly that hit James Loney on the head, he had some trouble, made 27 pitches, and gave up a run and had to come out. Albert Pujols doubled in a run against Kershaw, singled against Kershaw to put runners at first and third. And here is Albert in the 8th. Dark sky. Lights have not been turned on, foul back, nor have they been asked to be turned on. But sitting here in the booth looking up at the big dark clouds, and there's Broxton hitting 97 on the gun. How in the world they can see it down there? 0-1 to Pujols. Little roller, charging DeWitt, throws on the run, gets him. So Pujols goes 2 for 4, 1 out in the 8th inning. And the batter will be Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig struck out twice against Clayton Kershaw. The fastball just blew him away. Then he came up in the 6th inning and hit a ground ball to DeWitt. And that was a big play. DeWitt had the play on Barton coming to the plate, and he threw high, and Barton scored. Strike. Ludwig batting .338, 13 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Oh, 0-2. Jonathan Broxton made 12 pitches in the 7th inning. And we'll see how many he expends here in the 8th. No one throwing back of him in the bullpen. 3-3 8th inning. Dandy of a ball game. 0-2. Fastball again. When you can throw 97, and I think everybody in the ballpark is wondering about lights, you figure why bother with anything else? Ludwig with a brother Eric, who's pitched with St. Louis and Oakland and Toronto. Well, baseball certainly runs in the Ludwig family. Still 0-2. Broxton just keeps the heat on. 96, 97. 1 out, 8th inning, 3-3. They're going to turn the lights on now. I don't know how they have started this inning without the lights. Still 0-2. It probably takes a while for the lights to heat up, but you can see that they are just starting to wake up. Oh and 2. Tell you what, Ludwig will go back to the dugout. They'll turn the lights on and he'll say now, after striking out 3 times today. Say, don't forget Thursday, June 5th, Dodgers Cubs 7:10, and the first 50,000 fans in attendance receive a Takashi Saito bobblehead. Compliments of creditreport.com. For information, check the website Dodgers.com or give us a call. So Ludwig has a rough day. Strikes out 3 times. Here's Troy Gloss. 0 for 3. Ball 1. For Broxton, he has struck out 2. Gloss struck out twice, popped up to Mazza in shallow right field. And a strike. 1-1. Breaking ball that time, the hard slider that John has. Dodgers in the 8th will have Pierre, Mazza, and Ethier. Fastball. Well, the lights are heating up, but they're not ready to even cast any kind of an effect on the field. It'll be pretty obvious in a little while. Dodgers hope the lights are really kicking in when they come up. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Troy. Light breeze comes up, blowing a little bit out towards center for the moment. Did he? Yeah, sure. He had no idea where it was. It was in the dirt. So Broxton comes in, strikes out 2, and here they come. Pierre, Mazza, and Ethier in a 3-3 tie. 3-3, bottom of the 8th inning. Jonathan Broxton worked 2 innings and made a total of 24 pitches. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Takashi Saito begins to loosen up. The lights are just about kicking in now, so visibility has improved dramatically. And Kyle McClellan out of Florissant, Missouri, coming in, a Cardinal pick 6 years ago. He was offered a scholarship to go to Missouri, but instead signed with the hometown club. He was attending Hazelwood High School. He's 6'4", 205 pounds, 23 years old. He'll be 24 the middle of June. He had Tommy John surgery 3 years ago, and then last in 06, he had a nerve transposition relocation. But here he is, despite the 2 serious surgeries, in the big league. And a strike to Pierre. Juan Pierre hitting .290, Grounded out, flied out, and singled. Ground ball to the left, it's short. Is Turris on it to get him? So one away in the 8th inning. Luis Mazza will be coming up. And with all of the fuss and feathers of Clayton Kershaw, this became a memorable day for Mazza. After 9 years in the minor leagues, he hit his first major league home run that tied up the game back in the 1st inning. Mazza then grounded to short, last time up sacrificed. Mazza hitting .462, playing for Jeff Kent today. Saito throwing in the pen. Broxton going a strong 2. Foul ball. On deck, Andre Ethier. McClellan, fastball, curve, slider, and change. Big bounce over the hole. Great pick by Turris. The throw is not in time. Gets away from Pujols, and Mazza is aboard. That's a base hit. In fact, Turris made a remarkable play to make it so close at first. Look where Caesar goes, then up in the air. Pujols trying to stay on the bag, fought it, and it dribbled away. So it'll go as a 1-out single for Mazza. Luis 2 for 4. A lot of great effort on Turris' part, Pujols' part, and Mazza to go in head first at the bag. So a tiebreaker at first, 1 out. Andre Ethier, the batter, and Jason LaRue going out to talk to McClellan as to how they want to try to pitch Ethier. Twice, Andre flied to center and single to right. Paid attendance today. A lot of folks coming out to see Clayton Kershaw. The paid attendance 46,566. And now, wait a minute, here comes Tony La Russa. So La Russa has left-hander Ron Vallone down in the bullpen. And now that Ethier has been announced, they will bring Vallone in. Vallone pitched briefly in the first game. He worked a third of an inning, and he came in to strike out Ethier. So they're bringing him in to try to do the same thing, and we'll be back. 3-3 in the 8th inning, and Ron Vallone comes out of the Cardinal bullpen to pitch to Andre Ethier, whom he struck out in the first game. Ron Vallone would certainly merit the nickname Suitcase Ron Vallone. He is now with his 11th team. Only Mike Morgan played for more, 12. He's 38 years old, out of Englewood, New Jersey, lives in Upper Saddle River, went to school at the University of Massachusetts. Vallone 6'3", 240, and Mazza at first with 1 out. And of course, by bringing in Vallone, La Russa no doubt feels he serves 2 purposes: to face the left-hand hitting Ethier and to keep an eye on Mazza. Andre Ethier 1 for 3 today, hitting .289. Mazza very short lead. Vallone, wow, pigeons could land on his shoulder. He held the ball so long. Vallone, a Jersey boy, so he grew up a Yankees fan. And besides Babe Ruth, Ron Guidry was his favorite. And he was there when Dave Righetti pitched his no-hitter. Fastball flared into left field, base hit. Down to second goes Mazza. So under the heading of the best laid plans of mice and men, put in the name Tony La Russa, as Vallone brought in to pitch to Ethier, surrenders the flare single to left. Now Russell Martin coming up, 2 on, 1 out. And we'll see, Tony apparently is not going to make a move. He has Mike Parisi, a right-hander, in the bullpen. Martin flied to right, doubled up the top of the center field wall. He missed by inches of hitting a home run, and then singled to drive in Pierre in the 6th inning. The 2 for 3, hitting .315. And ball 1. Martin has not faced Vallone in the past. Mazza at second, Ethier at first, 1 out, 3-3, 8th inning. Fastball, ball 2, 2-0. Vallone hits 90 on the gun. Two balls, no strikes. And a strike. When Vallone was in high school, he pitched his high school to the Jersey State Championship. Didn't play summer ball, didn't play organized ball for 3 years, and they used him at football practice. You know what they would do? They would practice kickoffs, and instead of kicking the ball, Vallone would throw it. 2-1. Checking the runners in this count with 1 out. They're not going. And a fly ball to right field. Going back on the ball is Ludwig to make the catch. Mazza tags at second and moves over to third. So Martin, a long fly ball to right, advancing Mazza. The tiebreaker 90 feet away, and Martin feels like the big fish got away. I think Russell feels he really got a pitch he could hammer and hit a long out to right instead. So James Loney coming up. Struck out, grounded out, flied out. James 0 for 3, hitting .277. Mazza, the tiebreaker at third. Ethier at first, 2 out. 8th inning, 3-3. Ball 1. Hitting behind Loney is Matt Kemp. Crowd really into this game, and for good reason. It's been a dandy. 1 ball and no strikes. In there, 1-1. Vallone was quite a football player later on at college. He was all East and all Yankee Conference. He was a tight end for the University of Massachusetts. Didn't play baseball for 2 years in college. Fastball and another strike. Outside corner at the knees. 1-2 to count to James. Mazza at third. Ethier at first. 2 out. 1-2 to Loney. And a high fly ball to right field. Looking up into that soupy sky is Ludwig. And we're heading for the 9th inning. So the Dodgers leave runners at first and third. And at the end of 8, as Martin thinks about that line drive that got away, a 3-3 tie. 3-3 tie as we go to the 9th inning. Takashi Saito coming in to pitch the 9th with the tie score, which is rare. Go back to the extra inning game. It was a 13-inning game against the Colorado Rockies, you may remember. The Dodgers led 7-6. They brought him in to pitch the ninth, and he gave up the tying run, and then pitched a couple of innings until he gave it up to Chan Ho Park in the 11th. Chris Duncan is going to come up and bat for Jason LaRue. And then, of course, they have Yadier Molina to go behind the plate. So Duncan, the son of the Cardinal pitching coach, Dave Duncan. He was 1 for 3 last night, and he was 0 for 3 in the first game. Oh and 1. He flinched and takes a strike. 0-2. Little slider. Duncan is 6'5" and 230. So he gives you a good strike zone. Got a lot of power. Only 4 home runs so far this year. But he had 21 last year, 22 the year before. Although in 06 kind of set an all-time record for fewest RBIs with 22 home runs. He had only 43. 2-2. Chris had a scholarship offered to go to Arizona, born and still lives in Tucson, but he passed it up to sign with the Cardinals. Ball 3. Well, Saito going all the way. Takashi 21 strikeouts and only 5 walks. Got him. Off-speed pitch. Little wrinkle to a 72-mile-an-hour pitch, and Duncan was way out in front of it.
Shortstop number 3, Cesar Torres.
And it was out of the strike zone as well. So Duncan strikes out. The last 3 Cardinals have bitten the dust. Broxton, Nail, Ludwig, and Gloss. And now Saito takes care of Duncan. And the batter, Cesar Torres. Shattered bat, ground ball to Loney, a race to the bag, and Torres wins it. So Takashi Saito, not only late to cover, never got there. Maybe the broken bat distracted him. That thing just shattered, and Torres safely aboard. See, Saito kind of standing, jumped over part of the bat, and that gave up the race to Torres.
Center fielder number 24, Rick Ankiel.
So a broken bat, base hit. And with 1 out, Rick Ankiel the batter, and a fellow who can run is Torres, who stole second back in the 7th inning, now at first. Rick came into the game as a pinch hitter and struck out in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 1 in the past against Saito. Torres with a stolen base today has stolen 4 out of 7. And that's a strike. Torres with that big stolen base in the 7th inning. You've often heard of base runners say that they don't mind left-hand pitchers because they can see the move, but Beimel has such a great move. It was a shock that Torres read him so well. Twice could have stolen a base and succeeded the second time. The first time the pitch was fouled off. 0-2. Ankiel hitting .287. Ankiel has struck out 34 times. 0-2. Down he goes again. So Ankiel has had 2 at-bats, and down he has gone each time. 2 strikeouts for Saito.
Second baseman, Aaron Miles.
Fastball, a little late movement to it. And the batter now, Aaron Miles. Aaron Miles had a big at-bat. Came off the bench against Jonathan Broxton with his tourist at third in the 7th inning. And Aaron got the fly ball to center to pick him up. That tied up the game. That was a huge at-bat. Miles has always been a very scrappy, tough player, even though he is only 5'8". But when you understand in high school, he especially liked wrestling and football. You know he likes to tough it out. The bunt foul. 0-1. Aaron originally drafted by the Astros back in '95. Of course, his father's name Herb. He was a former boxer who turned microbiologist, and his dad once sparred with George Foreman. So he is a competitor. Oh, 0-1. That's a strike. 0-2. And a ground ball to the hole, smothered by Mazza, whose throw pulls Loney off the bag. Great effort. And I tell you what, if Mazza doesn't smother the ball, his tourist would wind up at third, without a doubt. So a heads-up play by Luis Mazza, and Miles comes up with a single. His tourist taking second. And the leadoff man, Skip Schumacher, coming up. There's Mazza just getting his glove on it. Then trying to get Miles. He wasn't about to give up on the play. Great effort. Schumacher is 0 for 3. Struck out twice, hit into a double play, and walked. Skip hitting .294. Ball 1. So a local boy trying to come back, give the Dodgers a bad time. And remember, he has 4 game-winning base hits so far this year. Skip, born in Torrance, lives in Laguna Niguel. 1-0. And a fly ball to left field. Pierre is there. All right. So the bottom of the 9th inning is here. It'll be Matt Kemp, followed by Blake DeWitt, followed by Chin Lung Hu in a 3-3 tie. And on the mound, Mike Parisi, Parisi. He's from Huntington, New York, and Lake Grove, New York. Went to Manhattan College. 6'3", 215, 25 years old. Kind of a strikeout pitcher, certainly in college.
Center fielder number 27, Matt Kemp.
This is his first year in the big leagues. 2-seam fastball, curveball, and a change. And Matt Kemp will lead it off against Parisi. And ball 1. In trying to find out a little more about Parisi, he's only been in 6 games. 9 strikeouts and 4 walks. 1 more hit than innings pitched. 1-1. So Kershaw, Wade, Beimel, Broxton, and Saito, Wellemeyer, Springer, McClellan, and now Parisi. Two and 1. Kemp today struck out, grounded out, flied out, 0 for 3. Over the top fastball, speared by Gloss. Nice play to get him. Troy Gloss, flashing to his left, made a 360 and still found Pujols. 1 away.
Third baseman number 33, Blake DeWitt.
Now the turn, and right on the money again. So 1 out in the 9th inning, and Blake DeWitt coming up. Good play for a guy who thought he had an appendicitis last night and was in Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena. That's a strike. Three runs and 7 hits plus an error for each side. One and one to Blake. Popped up, flied to center, struck out. Hard ground ball, backhanded by Pujols. Overhands to his pitcher covering. Albert does a lot more than just hit. 2 down.
Shortstop number 14, Chin Woo.
Pujols had made several good plays over there at the bag throughout the series. Here's another one. Chin Woo coming up. Out on deck is Mark Sweeney. He would bat for Saito, who made 15 pitches in the 9th inning. Fastball, chopper up the middle. Right at the bag is Miles to get him, and that's that. So we are going into extra innings on this Sunday afternoon. All tied 3-3. Well, it's push against shove here at Dodger Stadium as we go to the 10th inning in the 3-3 tie. By the way, the Cardinals are a little accustomed to overtime. They have played in 6 extra inning games already, and they have split the 6. For the Dodgers, this is only their 3rd extra inning adventure. They're 2-0, winning both of the extra inning games right here. And Takashi Saito, after 15 pitches in the 9th, will pitch the 10th and started off with Yadier Molina, then Pujols and Ludwig. Molina hitting .289, 2 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Played last night, went 0 for 3. Played the night before, went 0 for 3. He's about the toughest hitter in the National League right now to strike out. Strikes out maybe once every 24 times, something like that. The Molina family, they sure can catch it. 2-0. And a strike. So Saito's asked to pitch 2 innings. The last time he did it, it was that extra inning game we were talking about. That night he made 28 pitches. So we'll see how far he goes today. No one in the pen. Fouled away. So Takashi Saito battling Yadier Molina. Molina is 1 for 2 in the past against Saito. Off the plate. Molina, a remarkable catcher. Last year he caught half of the runners. That's almost unheard of. And in his career, he's caught almost half, 47%. And with all of that, he's only 24. He'd be 25 in July. And there he goes. That's rather historic. Molina strikes out. For Saito, his 3rd strikeout, and 1 out in the 10th inning. Say, be sure to vote for the 2008 All-Star Game. You may win free tickets and a meeting with a Dodger player. If you go to Dodger.com/All-Star, select the Dodgers as your favorite team. When you vote, you'll be entered to win. And to thank you for voting, you can get as much as 50% off a future game. Compliments of Farmer John. So vote at Dodgers.com/All-Star. Now the battle. Albert Pujols. He has a single and a double. He is 2 for 4. Pujols against Saito, 0 for 2. And a little foul out of play. 1-1. The lights are on and the sky also brightened considerably. When Broxton was pitching in the 7th inning, it was really dark. But the sky actually has brightened with the lights on. Visibility is excellent now. One ball, one strike. Two. So Saito working on the great Albert Pujols. Pujols, with all of his brilliance, was the 402nd player drafted. 401 players ahead of him. 1-2. He is the youngest of 11 children. 6'3", 230, 28 years old. Could very well have been playing for the Red Sox. Instead, the Red Sox picked Rick Asadorian, Brad Baker, and Casey Fossum ahead of him. How about that? There are no geniuses in the game. Albert set a major league record when he hit his 14th home run in April. That was 2 years ago. The old mark held by Ken Griffey Jr. and Luis Gonzalez at 13. Before he is done, he's going to set a book full of records. He was a 13th round pick by the Cardinals. 2-2. On the hands, foul back. Willie Mays was the fastest player to get 1,000 hits and 200 home runs. He did it in 825 games. Pujols did it in 806 games. 2-2. And another foul ball. Pujols has 11 home runs and 33 RBIs. You watch him foul those pitches off. It's rather remarkable. He's only struck out 18 times. In the last 6 years, the most strikeouts in 1 year, 69. With all that power. So this is quite a battle. And line foul. So Saito struck out Molina, who rarely strikes out. Now he's battling Pujols, one of the toughest in the league. We're in the 10th, 3-3 tie. And among other things, Pujols is the top Cardinal hitter on the road, hitting .372 on the road. Heck, he'd hit .330 in the Grand Canyon. 2-2. And got him on a breaking ball. He thinks it's questionable, but he doesn't say a word to Phil Cuzzy. So that's quite an accomplishment for any pitcher to strike out both Molina and Pujols. Little slider that just at the last minute darted into the zone. Albert kind of straightened up. Down he goes. So 2 big strikeouts. Saito now has struck out 4. And the batter, Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig doesn't want to hear about strikeouts. Ryan has struck out 3 times and hit a ground ball to third. Blake DeWitt going steady with the foul line. Back of the bag at third. 1-1 to Ryan. Ludwig hitting .336. He has 13 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Friday night he had 3 hits, including the game-winning home run. and he was rewarded by not playing last night, which is typical of what La Russa will do. I mean, Ludwig has a big night. Next night, he sits. Schumacher had a 4-hit game. Next day, he sat. Tony's idea, get all the outfielders in there, constantly in a state of flux. And he's tied for first with the Cubs. 2-1. On the corner, 2-2. Thinking about the Cardinals tied with the Cubs, Lou Piniella, Tony La Russa growing up together in Tampa, playing on the same American Legion teams and fighting each other for first place. Foul back. Of course, over the years, the Cardinals and the Cubs have had a wonderful rivalry, and it'll go down to the wire this year. Dodgers will not see the Cardinals again until the 5th of August. 5, 6, 7, they're in St. Louis. 2-2. Got him. He strikes out the side. What a performance by Takashi Saito with the curveball. Ludwig does not agree with it, but it's also the 4th time that Ryan has struck out. And at the end of 9 1/2, 3-3. 3-3 in the 10th inning, and a lot of people here at Dodger Stadium are going to react to the announcement. Who? Coming up to pinch hit for Takashi Saito is Terry Tiffee, Tiffee. Terry's contract was purchased today from Las Vegas. Friday night he was playing against Fresno, and he went 4 for 5, and the big guy checks in at the plate. Big breaking ball for a strike. Tiffee is 6'3", 215-pounder out of Little Rock, Arkansas, originally selected by the Twins back in 1999. He was a defensive end in high school, and when he was in high school, he weighed 260 pounds. He checks in now at 215. 1-1. Ball 2. Tiffee is a switch hitter, basically a third baseman, and in the game batting left-handed. Originally signed by the Twins, then the Orioles, and now the Dodgers. Foul ball, 2-2. He had 150 at-bats with the Twins a couple of years ago, 45 more. He's had well over 200 major league at-bats. He's not some raw kid just checking in. He's 29 and doesn't mind wearing number 13. Two balls and 2 strikes. One of the more popular Dodgers. Remember Joe Ferguson? Well, he wore number 13. And quite a few in Dodger history. Alex Cora wore 13. Oscar Robles, Fergie, Osuna. 2-2. Of course, if you go way back to Brooklyn, Burley Grimes, Kirby Higbee, a pitcher, and Ralph Branken, who gave up one of the most famous home runs in baseball history to Bobby Thompson. Ralph wore 13. 2-2 to Terry Tiffee. Ground foul. Tiffee hitting for Saito. Juan Pierre and Luis Mazza on deck. And a fly ball into left center. Late start in left field by Duncan. It's going to drop. I don't know if Chris Duncan lost it or what, but he should have put that in his hip pocket and had no jump, minus jump. So Duncan, who is pretty questionable anyway as a major league outfielder, had no jump at all on a routine fly ball. You don't see him in the picture because he had no jump. And then by the time he comes in, it's a fly ball single. So Kerry Tiffy winds up with a gift. Dave Duncan winds up with a headache as his son misplays that. The Dodgers have the winning run at first, and Juan Pierre the batter. Pierre grounded out, flied out, singled and grounded out. 1 for 4, and they look bunt. Whoa, that almost went to the backstop. Nice save by Yadier Molina. So Molina saves a wild pitch. Duncan has shortened up in left field. Troy Gloss on the grass. Pujols ready to push off at first. And the bunt foul. 1-1. Great game. Cardinals got a run in the first inning, and the Dodgers came right back on the home run by Mazza to tie it up. Dodgers got a run in the fourth inning to take a 2-1 lead, only to have the Cardinals tie it up in the sixth. Cardinals got a run in the seventh inning. Dodgers scored in the bottom of the sixth, so they were tied up, and here we are in the 10th. Great performance by Saito. 2 infield singles, and he wound up striking out 5. Pierre bunts as a play at second, and that's 1, but not the first. In a sense, of course, the Dodgers give up an out, but they're in better shape having Pierre the runner instead of Tiffy. But they do have to give up an out. Tiffy forced easily on that. Mark Sweeney is now coming out, and Mark will bat for Luis Mazza.
Your attention, please. Batting for Mazza, number 22, Mark Sweeney.
So Sweeney coming up. Sweeney did not play last night. Delwyn Young did. Mark did play in the 7th inning as a pinch hitter in Game 1 Friday night and had a scoring fly ball to left field. Sweeney played with the Cardinals back in 1995 and 1996. They have Pierre at first, and of course he'd love to spot an opening and steal. And a strike on 1. Pierre has not been involved in a stolen base attempt. He has stolen 18 out of 22 as he studies Mike Parisi. Of course, one thing about Pierre or any other base runner, you can study Parisi all you want, but you can still fail your exam because Yadier Molina is behind the plate. So if Parisi gives any kind of a look to Pierre so that he gives Molina a shot, the odds favor Molina. So this is the battle within the war. And Sweeney fouls it off. So Mark 0-2 the count. Sweeney will be 39 in October. From Framingham, Massachusetts, went to the University of Maine. He has a degree in marketing and lives over in Scottsdale. Oh, 0-2 to Sweeney. And a wild pitch that goes all the way over to the on-deck circle, and Pierre will hold on at second. So Parisi bounces one. It might have even hit home plate and kicked away up off the heel of Molina's glove. So the Dodgers get the wild pitch to advance Pierre. And now Sweeney trying to pick him up. For Mark Sweeney, like so many veterans, he's sure been around. He's been traded 5 times. He's been released 3 times, signed with a club as a free agent 7 times, and granted free agency 4 times. 1-2. 2-2. For that matter, Mark Sweeney certainly knows his way to San Diego. He's been with the Padres 3 different times. Parisi in his first year with St. Louis. So Pierre the winning run at second with 1 out. On deck, Andre Ethier. 2-2 to number 22. Trying to break a 3-3 tie. Pierre carrying the mail, and his tourist trying to take a step away from him. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. The big curveball. Sweeney very unhappy with Phil Cuzzy, and down he goes.
Right fielder, number 16, Andre Ethier.
So with 2 out, Andre Ethier with a chance to win it. Disappointed and frustrated Sweeney back into the dugout. Parisi now working on Ethier, who flied to center, single to right, flied to center again, and single to left. So Ethier 2 for 4, hitting .294. The top of the Dodger lineup has been very busy. That's a strike. Pierre has 1 hit. Mazza had 2 hits. Ethier has 2 hits. And Martin 2 hits. After that, the only hit in the bottom part of the lineup was Tiffy's single as a pinch hitter. And even that was tainted. It was really just a fly ball. 1-1. The outfield around the left. Well, they give Ethier almost all of straightaway right field. Ludwig way over in the gap. Pierre the winning run at second. 3-3, bottom of the 10th. Oh, that could have been another wild pitch. Great save by Molina. 2-1. He's a dandy back there. Yadier Molina means so much to the Cardinals. Two and 1 to Andre Ethier. Parisi, the 4th Cardinal pitcher. Breaking ball off the plate, ball 3. Cardinals, for the moment anyway, lost their closer, Jason Isringhausen. Jason had 11 saves, but the stress, the pressure of closing got to him. Hurt his hand smashing a television set, and he's down in Florida trying to just settle his mind. Good breaking ball. 3-2. On deck, certainly a man the Cardinals do not want to see, Russell Martin. Three and 2. Pierre at second, 2 out in the 10th, a 3-3 tie. And a line drive, fair ball, that'll do it. It'll go down in the corner. Pierre scores, and the Dodgers avoid being swept against the Cardinals. They also hang tough because Arizona had already won, so the Dodgers remain 3.5 games back. And for Andre Ethier, his 3rd hit is the charm, and he certainly would be the player of the game. So the Dodgers now have a tough road trip ahead of them, almost 4:30. They'll have to take off sometime around 6:30, 7 o'clock. They'll lose 2 hours, so by the time they take off, it'll be 9 o'clock Chicago time. They're not going to get to bed until certainly 1 in the morning at the earliest, and they have a day game tomorrow in Wrigley Field, Chicago.